Negotiations between the United States and North Korea moving ahead, hoping to move ahead, in fact, to the realization of that June 12th summit planned in Singapore. Today, Secretary of State Pompeo met with a top North Korean diplomat here in New York City. The White House also sending delegations to Singapore and to the Korean DMZ, where they are holding talks with North Korean officials. Joining us tonight is Fox News national security strategist, former strategist to the president, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Great to have you with us, Seb. Let's start with these talks moving ahead. The White House making it clear if they can and if the conditions are right, and that means that basically assurances of denuclearization, according to some template that the administration has, that June 12th meeting, they think, can still happen.
Yes, Lou, it really looks as if things are back on track. And knowing who we have in the White House now, John Bolton, Pompeo at State, Mattis at Defense, this isn't going to be some airy-fairy piece of paper. This is going to be incredibly stringent. I've recommended that we have American inspectors, access to civilian and military sites, and also snap inspections. None of that garbage from the Iran deal from Obama where the Iranians have 30 days. To clean up their sites.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has any illusions about this administration having any kinship to the previous administration. There is this issue of China that is percolating, and I think perhaps even profoundly in the background, whether it be the reaction to U.S. ships in freedom of navigation maneuvers in the South China Sea, whether it be trade talks that Mnuchin led, frankly, to the verge of disaster, which have been rescued, it appears, but still we're looking at 301 actions by the administration against some of the imports. That's in abeyance until the 15th of June. Further penalties could ensue, and by penalties I mean tariffs from so we're seeing some real tough talk here coming as well from the Chinese leadership. What do you make of the strains and the prospects and potential import to the overall relationship with China?
Well, I learned very rapidly once I was in the White House. I came in to do counterterrorism, but I learned once you have the clearances and read the reports that there's only one strategic threat we face today, and that's China. And luckily, the president came around to that view as well, and he takes this very seriously. That's why we have the 301 investigation, the tariffs, and everything else. The real challenge is not the White House. The challenge is the U.S. business elite, especially in Silicon Valley. These people have facilitated the rise of China. When Apple, when Google go in there and invest and give away their IP, their intellectual property, as part of their access to those markets, basically they're undermining not only the U.S. economy, but U.S. national security. So this is an educational process as much as a national security one, and we need the private sector to get on board with the president's message that China cannot be allowed to displace us economically or militarily.
Yes, and to give that a balanced perspective as well in terms of the types of industry, not only Silicon Valley and big tech, but also U.S. manufacturing, which includes some of our most elite companies, including elite in the goods sense, the rarefied expertise in products. And that is Boeing, for example, having to do compelled transfers of IP in order to sell aircraft to China. And the list goes on. All sorts of deals like that, which the president, to his great credit, has identified and is trying to reverse. But with a Congress whose leadership is bought and paid for by the Koch brothers, the Business Roundtable, and the Chamber of Commerce, it is very difficult, and Wall Street, very difficult for the president to carry his message through. Today, the president dealing with that very issue, remembering very clearly that Bob Iger walked off one of his industry councils, business councils, taking a shot at him. The bad blood, and appropriately so, this president, when he needed help, and you know, people like Iger were a problem and not part of the solution.
Yeah, Lou, at the end of the day, it's a very simple question. It's the conflict between short-termism and making your shareholders happy at the next quarterly meeting, or whether it's actually the interests of the nation writ large, all Americans. We have to have a long-term approach, because guess what? The Chinese have one.
And there is also a very simple word for the problem, and that is multinational when applied to businesses. They are, no matter where they do business, they had better be American businesses operating globally. Dr. Sebastian Gorka, as always, we appreciate it. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Lou.